Hi friends, we're back again, this time for science. Yesterday, you guys should have read pages 131 and 132 in your science book and then completed the little small activity at the bottom of page 132. I think you just had to circle something super easy. And you guys had an opportunity to watch the Brain Pop Junior. So what we talked about yesterday was mostly about how landforms gradually, which is slowly, change the way the Earth is and looks, and how those landforms can form other things, such as the way the coastlines look, rivers, mountains, valleys. And it talks a little bit about weathering, which we talked about with the Grand Canyon last chapter, and how weather and erosion can cause a lot of damage or makes things different. So today I'm going to read for you page 133 and 134, which this one is going to be fast changes. So like avalanches, landslides, mudslides, things like that. All right, guys, so you should open up your science books to page 133 and 134. Before I start reading, I want to remind you what the word erosion means. We've talked about it multiple times in chapter 8, and now we'll talk about it quite a lot in chapter 9 as well. So erosion is the removal of soil and rock by wind and water. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how landslides, avalanches, mudslides, things like that can instantly change the look of the earth. So on page 133, it says, erosion can change landforms over long periods of time. It can also change them suddenly. Too much rainwater or melting snow can cause a mountainside to weaken. Erosion and wind can also cause weakening. If the mountainside is weakened enough, gravity causes a landslide to occur. A landslide is a large amount of dry soil and rock that slides down a steep slope. A larger landslide causes major changes to nearby landforms. Large boulders tumbling down mountainsides can fill valleys below. They can also block the flow of rivers and cause flooding. Now, I'm going to pause right there. If we think back to what we talked about last chapter about the importance of water, it can provide food, transportation, just entertainment. So if when a landslide happens, if it causes the block of a river or excess flooding, how do you think that's going to affect people? As soon as I said that, I thought of Frozen 2 when they break the dam and all that water comes rushing out. Now, that's not a landslide, but do you remember when all that water came and they were afraid that Arendelle was going to flood? That could be the same thing with a landslide. It could be a natural disaster as well, not something that somebody did. But if they block off the water and they can't get to it, what if somebody lives there and that's the only way they get their food? Or what if it's where people need to ship things off? Maybe it's an important river or stream of water where people need to move a good that they make over to somebody else. So see, this can be pretty problematic. All right, now I'm going to go back to page 133. We're going to read about avalanches. So it says, avalanches are similar to landslides. An avalanche is a large amount of snow, soil, and rock that slides down the side of a mountain. An avalanche destroys trees and other plants in its path. So if it destroys trees, think about what that does to the ecosystem for animals living in this area. What if they lived in those trees or they needed those plants to eat or anything like that? So we can see now two major changes in the earth that could really, really cause some major issues. All right, now on to flip it over. You're going to be on page 134. We're going to be talking about mudslides. So it says, erosion can also occur in areas where wildfires have burned away most of the plants that anchor the soil. Without the roots holding the soil in place, water can quickly soak and loosen an area, such as a mountainside. A mudslide occurs when a large amount of wet soil and rock slides down a steep slope. Mudslides can become so powerful that they wash away homes and reshape mountains. so you know that they have to be powerful. Think about how powerful just a mountain is. So we know that if a mudslide can come down, take out homes, change the way a mountain is shaped, that's pretty strong. And then on page 134, you need to, it says, look at the pictures and decide which change has happened to the land. Draw lines to match the pictures of the changes. So you should be able to look at these little pictures and just draw the arrows. And then you can take a picture of this and attach it to this assignment. But really quickly, I want you to think, maybe you could write this down below where it says mudslide. I want you to try to compare and contrast. Remember, compare, we're going to think of things that is similar, and contrast, think of things that are different. The difference between a landslide and a mudslide. Could you come up with maybe 2 things that are different and 1 thing that is similar? Write that down below. It does not have to be complete sentences. And then I'll see you here tomorrow for your next science lesson. I'm also going to attach a link to either a vocabulary or a brain pop, just to have something fun to watch to go with this.